Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hunter Mulholland Show. I'm your host, Hunter Mulholland. And yesterday, the Cardinals split their doubleheader with the Cincinnati Reds. First game, you have to use almost all of your bullpen pieces. Strzelecki, Brule, and Ferguson were the three guys that don't get used. You come out with a win, and Quinn Mathews had a fairly good start. He just didn't go deep into the game and didn't eat enough of that bullpen, those innings for the bullpen to really feel the effects of having an extra guy. But he goes 4 innings, 7 strikeouts. So against the team that strikes out the most in all of baseball, you start to see the strikeout stuff really happen from Quinn Mathews. Now, he threw 95 pitches in the game, 55 strikes. So you're hoping that, that kind of thins out. But he only had 3 walks. You hope he can find a way to be more efficient and get through the 5th inning and into the 6th in the future. But all in all, for the lefty making his second major league start, a fairly good one. Only 1 earned run, and it was the home run by Dane Myers. We'll talk about him a little bit more later because he also did something later in game 2 that burnt the Cardinals. But Mathews gives you 7 strikeouts, and that's what we've heard. He's a strikeout guy. He's going to be somebody that is going to go and get strikeouts. He might be a little bit walk prone, but that's what happens when you have somebody that, as young as he is, as much as he goes for the swing and miss, he's going to throw walks when hitters are patient. And that was kind of the plan, it seemed, from Cincinnati, was to be patient and work the pitch count up in game 1. And they did that. They knocked him out in the 4th. And so now Gastelum, Graceffo, Soriano, Stanek, and O'Brien have all been used in game 1. And you've got another one to play in the afternoon, or in the evening, I mean. And it is Strzelecki, Brule, and Ferguson are the 3 arms in the bullpen. Luckily, you've got Andre Palante on the mound, who should be able to eat some of those innings. He does. He ends up going 6 innings. And then Strzelecki goes 3. The question on whether or not Brule should have been the guy to go in the 9th inning. Okay. Well, he faced 1 batter and gave up the game in extras due to the Manfred man out on second base. But the Cardinals had opportunities to score, and that one too. They went 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Pereira, Jordan, and Torres all leave runners in scoring position with 2 outs. The Cardinals leave 10 runners total on base. And that's not even the one that, you feel like burnt you. It feels like the Mason Wynn not taking second on when Jordan Walker stole third kind of burnt you. And that was the one that, because the next thing that happens in the game after Mason Wynn doesn't take second on Jordan Walker's stolen base, Brian Torres singles, Jordan Walker scores, Mason Wynn ends up on third base, but he doesn't end up rounding and scoring. So that gives the Cardinals a 5-4 lead. Would have been 6-4. And then in the bottom of the 9th, when Dane Myers comes in and hits a home run off of Strzelecki, who's in his 3rd inning of work, that's only a 1-run shot, and it's 6-5 Cardinals instead of 5-5, and you're going to extras. But the Cardinals don't do anything. And in the top of the 10th, they leave runners on. Looking back on how, because there was a walk. So Jordan Walker's starting on second base. Joshua Baez strikes out swinging. Jose Fermin walks. Mason Wynn strikes out swinging on a check swing that gets Oliver Marmol ejected, which he was already kind of hot because Joshua Baez struck out after getting hit because he was said that he had gone on a check swing when he did get hit. So Marmol gets tossed. Pereira grounds out into a fielder's choice. You go to the bottom of the 10th. Brule comes in. Ellie De La Cruz doubles on the first batter of the inning, and it goes off of Blaze Jordan's glove, and it goes into the outfield, and Tyler Stevenson scores, ending the game and kind of putting a sour taste in the mouth of Cardinals fans for what looked to be like a game you got away with in game one, because all you get is the Alec Burleson two RBI double in the first inning of game one, and you steal that one away because you don't score for 8 consecutive innings, but 2 runs is enough because your pitching came in and did the exact thing that they needed to do, and then you come out in game 2 and it feels like you have the game won. You're down. You got the Reds down to their last out, and all of a sudden, the Cardinals are unable to close it out. Whether or not you think that they should have gone with Brule or O'Brien, or I would have, knowing where they are in the season, this is not something that I would do in an April doubleheader. This is something that I would do in an August or a September doubleheader when you're in a playoff push, is use your high leverage guy. Understand, okay, he's gone for the next 2 days, but use your high leverage guy. Now, I'm not in the dugout. I'm not in the coaches' meetings. I don't know how Riley O'Brien was feeling after his outing in the first one. I don't know if that was a thought that came across the Cardinals coaching staff's mind, was to use Riley O'Brien. I have to imagine that there was at least some sort of conversation of, if they are in a one-run scenario, do you go with your closer? But it is what it is. Cardinals lose. They've still got 3 more games against Cincinnati. Go out. You got Hunter Green tomorrow, not Hunter Green. Hunter Green's hurt. Chase Burns on Wednesday. Today, though, you have Kyle Leahy and Andrew Abbott, and Kyle Leahy has been probably the Cardinals' best arm over the last month and a half. He has a 1.75 in his last 7 games. I'll pull up his splits here. In the month of August, granted it's only 2 starts, he's a 1.40. In the month of July, he had that's a whip. Sorry, wrong column. The month of July, he had a 1.38 ERA. In the month of August, he has a 2.70. But it's only 2 starts, and they were both good starts, and they were both wins. So, say which one. Leahy has been really, really good. So, I feel very confident going into this evening's game with Kyle Leahy on the mound to get you back on the right track. But if I'm going to be honest, the offense has to get going. Yesterday, they went 5 for 25, I believe. I'm sorry, even worse than that. They went 5 for 27 with runners in scoring position. That's not good enough. That is not nearly good enough. So, like for example, this was an opportunity that they had in game 1. You get the 2-run double from Burleson with 1 out. You don't end up scoring in that. There's an opportunity missed right there. But in the top of the second, Blaze Jordan hits a triple to lead off the inning. Everson Pereira grounds out to the third baseman, can't score. Jordan Pajes strikes is called out on strikes, and Joshua Baez. This is not Joshua Baez's fault. He put the ball in play, but he hits a line drive straight away center field, and it's just right at Dane Myers. You get the leadoff man on again in the third with a Orvan Herrera walk, fly out, single, ground into a double play. You got 2 on and 1 out in the fourth. Pedro Pajes pops out, and Joshua Baez grounds out into a force out. Runner on second. Jordan Walker doubles. Runner on second in the top of the fifth with 1 out. Strikeout, fly out. Top of the sixth, Cardinals don't do anything. But Joshua Baez gets robbed by Brian Hayes. Orvan Herrera walks. Jordan Walker single. Missed. JJ flies out to center fielder Dane Myers. Herrera walk. Walker single. Burleson pop out in the inning. The Cardinals had opportunities with runners on. They absolutely had that in game 1, and you get away with a win. But you have to be better. You have to be better than that. So going into Wednesday or Tuesday evening's game and looking, you got 3 more games against the Reds, and then you go on to take on the Phillies. Looking at the standings, Phillies are +1, so now it's the Padres that are in the sole possession of the third spot, where that's who you're trying to track down. Cardinals are 3 games out. They did gain a half game because they played 2 yesterday. And San Diego lost, the Marlins lost, and I believe the Diamondbacks also lost. Yeah, the Diamondbacks got annihilated, which they are dealing with something else. So Ketel Marte didn't show up. Torey Lovello looked pretty emotional in an interview talking about it. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there with Ketel Marte. But the Cardinals are trying to track them down. So that is to note of one of Arizona's stars is missing right now. But the good news is that there's still a month and a half left to play. And you get an opportunity against Philadelphia this weekend. And then Orioles, Pirates. Then you face the Dodgers, Rockies, and Giants. You're done with the Padres. So you're sitting and watching with the Padres. You're done with everybody ahead of you except for Philadelphia this weekend. You're done with everybody who you're trying to track down, because like the Dodgers are ahead of them, the Brewers are ahead of them, but you're not trying to track them down. You're trying to track down the other guys. Looking at the remainder of the season, so you finish up this series with the Reds, then you play Philly, then you come back to St. Louis for Orioles and Pirates before you then head out to the West Coast and you go Dodgers, Rockies, Giants, White Sox, Giants back at home, Nationals at home, and then you go, and the last road set of the year, the last week of the year, you go Pirates, Brewers. And that's it. So you got the remainder of this third to last homestand, or third to last road trip, and then you got 2 homestands and 2 road trips after that. Time is ticking on St. Louis. It is. But you're in the hunt going into September, the end of August, I guess I should say, going into the end of August. You're in the hunt. Then this week against Cincinnati and this weekend against Philadelphia will tell you a lot about where this team could potentially end up. You go to Philadelphia and you have a good series, and all of a sudden you're looking at the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are right in the thick of it. I mean, they could be within, they could, if they could be within, a half game, a game of a playoff spot coming out of the weekend. It all depends on what happens the rest of the week and all that. But if you look at the Phillies, they're a team that's kind of there in that same fluctuating spot of second and third wild card. The opportunities are here for St. Louis, and the ball is in their court to keep the pressure on the other guys. If they keep the pressure on, then somebody's going to have to give. Somebody's not going to be strong enough to do it. So looking at that, but before we wrap here, Quinn Mathews, he was the 27th man. He's sent back down to AAA Memphis. Would not be shocked to see him up again, at least one more time for the end of the year. Joshua Baez, I get it. I know everybody's like, okay, he hit 3 home runs in his first game, and now he's, what's he doing? Well, you kind of knew that this was going to happen. He's 0 for 16 with 6 Ks in the last 4 games. The strikeouts are a part of it, but the other thing is if you look at the batted ball numbers, he's hitting the ball hard. He's getting unlucky. Just give it time. Let him develop and let him adjust to the major league level. He's not going to go 3 for 4 with 3 bombs every day, guys. Right? So just give it some time. Let him adjust. He's a young player getting his first taste of Major League Baseball, and he's going to be just fine eventually. You just got to give it a little bit of time for him to adjust and make the adjustments that he needs to the Major League level. But he does provide a little bit of protection to Alec Burleson and Jordan Walker in that lineup. It allows them to do things that they did on Sunday, which was go off for 4 RBIs each. Just give it time. But this evening, 5:40 first pitch Central Time, 6:40 local out at the ballpark. Cardinals and Reds. Leahy and Abbott. Important one for the Cardinals. Going to have to get a good start from Kyle Leahy. Kind of give that bullpen a little bit of rest this evening. So that'll do it for today's show. I'm Hunter Mulholland. This has been the Hunter Mulholland Show. Please give me a like and subscribe here on YouTube. Follow me on X and TikTok and Instagram. You'll follow me on my socials. Talking Cardinals baseball all the time. And this weekend, this Thursday, Friday shows will be probably pre-recorded at the evening after the game, heading into the next day as the BMW Championships come into town. So I'm going to be down at Belle Reve. I'm going to be covering that for STL Sports Central. So I will have golf content for you guys if you're a golf fan. Be down at Belle Reve. That'll be over on X and TikTok and Instagram. So please give me a follow there, and I'll have some golf content for you guys about the BMW Championship that's going on here in St. Louis this weekend. So until next time, go Cards, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.